Long time no see, guys and gals. The crazies are back. All right. I just want to start the season off with saying this. A lot of people think there are two sides to every story, but sometimes crazy is just crazy. So, the last time the favorite child came to visit, at one point the Banshee was in the room. The Banshee loves to take pictures. She takes pictures like a stereotypical Asian girl. Like every 3 steps, she's got to take a photo. She's got to take a photo of all her food, whatever. It's a thing. She takes photos of everything for no reason. And last time the favorite child was visiting, she brought her 2 kids, and the Banshee was just taking pictures. But it was very specific pictures. She's taking pictures of my nephew, and she's taking pictures specifically of his ears. And I'm like, what? And when the favorite child was like, why are you taking pictures of my son's ears? She's a really nice camera. Taking pictures of his ears. Doesn't like stop what she's doing. I have pictures of your daughter's ears too. And then back to what?
When someone meets my family, they inevitably ask, "How are you, you?" Why is that, you ask? Have I got a story for you?
Don't forget this very important tidbit of information. The Banshee does not live here, even though she's always here. And even she thinks she still lives here. This one time, remember also this tidbit of information, the Banshee does not have internet or TV at home. So she has to come here for internet and or TV. This one time she's here, it's probably like 1 in the morning, give or take, because she's always here. She really does think she lives here. And maybe it wasn't 1 in the morning, but I know my mom had yelled at her to go home during the night. And I'm like, well, why are you still here? You don't live here. And the Banshee turns to me and she goes, how come you get to stay up all night long? You can stay up till 3 a.m. using the internet, but I can't? And I'm just, you don't live here! Go home! Or get the internet at your house! There's a reason I can stay up till 3 a.m. and then go to sleep in my bed, which is literally right next to the computer. Online, dead, in bed. Online, dead in bed. It's not online, get in car, drive down the road, then get in bed, dead. No, computer, bed. I live here. I can do whatever the fuck I want. The other weird thing is, one time she walks in the house, and she obviously had an argument with my mom, probably also the favorite child, whatever. But she comes into my room and she goes, how can you stand to live with these crazies? And now, I know you all know the saying, the pot is calling the kettle black, but like in this case, the pot is calling the kettle dark matter. These crazies? What are you? What are those? What are you? Also, one of my favorite things ever is that you'll hear a lot about this later on in the season, but the Banshee knows pretty much everything. So, you can't really see it now, but to the left of me and behind is a pile of boxes. Actually, you can sort of see a pile of boxes. I sell things on eBay. It's kind of what I do. There's always a link in the description, like past 2014, my eBay store, where you can buy geeky goodness and shit. So I have a lot of boxes around. I also have packages ready to go in the room behind me, the guest room, and downstairs, just packages. In the garage, just packages, ready to go. Somebody buys them, bam, they're gone. And one time, my sister was trying to sit down. It was probably my fault. I probably had to. One thing that I can't stand about eBay is that for some reason, my customers must know what packages are on the bottom of the piles each time, because it's always the one on the bottom that sells. So I have to like rearrange the entire pile to get the package I want, and that makes me leave a whole bunch of stuff around for that moment. And my sister was like, oh, get these out of the way. Why don't you just, and she starts to tell me how eBay works. And she's like, you know, you can only list something for 3 days on eBay. And then it's done. You just give it back to whoever gave it to you and you tell them it didn't sell. And I was like, what? How would that? Your turnover rate would have to be absurd to keep that up. You'd just be getting like merchandise to sell and then you'd be basically tossing it away. I know you have no patience, but you need the patience. You really, really need the patience. And the other thing about eBay, just my family in general, is that Like whatever I do, it's awful. It's a stupid idea. It's a shitty idea. Whatever I do, it doesn't matter. It's terrible unless it's for them. Like eBay is fucking great if they can give me things to sell, but no. I haven't, no. The Banshee one time brought over his bag of stuff and she was like, you're gonna sell this for me on eBay. Like didn't go through any of the channels normally that anyone would go through. Didn't look at, you know, contract rules, what have you. No, she was like, here you go. And then she would just keep giving me stuff and be like, yeah, you're gonna sell this, you're gonna do this. And I'd be like, no. And one time she was like, you don't even fucking do anything. And then she handed me stuff and was like, here, you're gonna sell this. And I was like, oh, fuck you. And since then I haven't helped her. And occasionally she'll be like, but I need money, so you gotta sell stuff for me. Oh, I do nothing, so obviously I can't help you here. The other thing about eBay that's a little weird is recently, since my mom is retired now, she came in and she was like, is there anything you can think of that I would maybe do in my spare time? And I was like, you could run like a pawn shop or a stall in a flea market, which is actually something that I want to do now. And she was like, no, let me tell you all the reasons why that's a really stupid idea. And then she was like, but if that's what you want to do, I'll help you. And now, of course, hearing that goes in one ear and my brain is like, wah, 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 wah. Alert, alert, there's an issue here. And then it goes out the other ear. But also, she said it while standing in my doorway, which is, you know, the same spot where after the brake line ruptured in my car, she hung in the doorway and she was like, you know, what happened to you is what happens when other people try to kill people in their cars, you know. So that's also wah, wah, wah. Now it's double wah. Wah, 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 wah. Not good. No, I can't take anything seriously if it's happening in my doorway and you're hanging on the door jamb saying it in here, because I'm quite sure you're gonna find a way to kill me out of it. And no, I want to live. I want to live. I want y'all to know out there that I want to live. The other thing we know about the Banshee is that in addition to her knowing everything, she also knows nothing. There are so many occasions in life, like someone had said it to me, I think it was Teth at one point, he was like, but how is she still alive? And then me, I'm thinking about it like, a very good question. And now I ask her this regularly. So you see this power bank right here? I'm so glad it was actually next to me. I was like reading the notes. I was like, oh yeah, there's a power bank story in here. So it's a power bank. As most of you know, my phone's ringing. Who dat? As most of you know what a power bank does, it stores power and you can use it to charge your devices while you're on the go. My sister, first of all, she saw the power bank. She was like, don't use that, they explode. All right, not every power bank explodes. Like not every phone explodes. You can have one within the pile that's not exactly like everything else. Okay, first of all. And she's like, but you can only use a power bank once, right? Well, normally someone would say, right? If they weren't sure about something, but this is, you can only use power banks once. And I'm like, pray tell, do go on. Yes, quiet. Yes, quiet. Please go on. You can only use them once. They store up a battery once, and then they run out, and you gotta throw them away. And I was like, I think I know why you're losing money now. I think I know why you're poor. It might have something to do with the fact that you're an idiot. You know who else knows stuff? Knows stuff in my family? My mom. Yeah, she knows a lot of stuff. So they had this, as you know, she's a Fox News politician, whatever they say goes, what have you. And they're having some story about how weed is destroying the world and the nation and what have you. And I was trying to talk to her about it because she honestly thinks if you smoke weed, you're going to turn into like a murderous psychopath and you're ruining the fabric of society if you smoke weed. Now, I personally don't partake. I've seen enough. I like to watch people who are high, but I eat enough already. I don't want the munchies all the time. Yeah, I feel like if I take drugs, it's just going to make me normal, and I don't need that in my life. I like being weird. So I'm trying to like explain to my mom that there's really no I've never ever seen a person that became belligerent while high after smoking weed. Like, it's not something that happens. And we started talking about it, and she's like, "It's your generation. You guys have all the weed." And I'm like, "No, I'm pretty sure weed's been around for, quite a while." And she's like, "No. When I was a kid, there was no weed." And I'm like, "I'm pretty sure there was weed. I'm 150% sure that it existed when you were a child. Well, people couldn't get it." And I was like, "I don't think you knew the right people that had it. I don't think you know enough about the things that you think you know enough about to speak of them. So you should just shh sometimes. Shh. Shh. Oh, this is one of my favorite My Family Are Crazy stories. I think I've told you guys in the past about how I fell on the bike path, but when I was young, my best friend growing up, well, I don't think I've talked too much about him on Fairy Tales so far. You guys know Bacon. He's my best friend now. And Belly of Egeria. They're my two best friends currently. But when I was growing up, I had a different best friend. And he lived down the street from me. We used to go on the bike path all the time. And he was always faster than me unless we were running backwards. For some reason, when I was little, I was the Flash if I was running backwards, but not forwards. I don't know how I managed to run faster backwards than forwards. Well, whatever. He was always faster than me. It didn't matter what we were on, like bikes, whatever. And this one time we went on the bike path with my mom. And I thought, for the first time ever, I was going to surpass him in speed. And I sped up as quick as I could on my bike, went up a hill. Didn't understand physics, obviously, because going as fast as I possibly can up that hill, pretty steep hill, too. Steep hill? Pretty steep hill, too. So when I got to the top, instead of just being like, wah, no, I went, whoo, and I flew. I mean, I actually flew. Like, if I had wings, I would have glided a mile. I was just, whee! And I wasn't exactly holding on to the bars of the bike, so I flew off of the bike. So I moved over the hill, into the air, lost the bike. Wham! Hit the floor. And I'm pretty sure I told you this story, but I had pretty much no skin at all on my palm for quite a while. And I'm actually scarred for life on my hip. From, I don't know if it was the asphalt or the bike, because once I hit the floor, you know when you have that moment of clarity after some really bad shit happens where it seems like time slows down? Well, I hit the floor, hit my hand, scraped all the skin off of it. Hit the floor. I was really messed up at the time. But I had that moment of clarity, like, whoa. I fucked up, man. I fucked up. And then, in that moment of clarity, I was like, what happened to my bike? Where'd it go? And then it hit me. So I'm not actually sure if I got the scar on my hip from hitting the asphalt and scraping it, or hitting the asphalt and then the bike, like the tire, hitting me on the way down. But it hurt a lot. And I was bleeding, probably profusely at the time. And like I couldn't get back on the bike. I was too injured to get back on the bike. I was crying, I was bleeding from many spots. Pretty sure I skinned my knees, but your knees are pretty hardy, so are your elbows. So that wasn't too much of a problem. But definitely the hand was all messed up, and like I couldn't write for months. I had to get graphite paper so my friends could double up their notes, and they'd hand me the graphite paper copy. And like I had a gauze pad on my hand for at least a month, because God forbid we fucking go to the hospital. You all know my family would never do that. That costs money, so no. Had like a gauze pad that they wrapped in surgical tape around my hand for quite a while. And like I could move my fingers, but when you have no skin on your palm at all and you move your fingers sometimes, you touch one of the muscles that's like exposed, and that hurts like a motherfucker. Oh my God, did that hurt. So I really was assed out of a hand for quite a while. I couldn't write for a really long time either. But the thing is, about this is one time my neighbor that my mom is dating came to dinner, and she was telling the story. And because at the time I was kind of, out of it after taking that fall and that spill and bleeding, and I was woozy and lightheaded, I don't remember this. But my best friend at the time was the first one to get to me after, the bike had fallen on top of me and I'm laying on the floor and there's blood everywhere. He was the first one to get to me, and he was like, and he's talking to my mom. He's like, we need to take him to the hospital, or at the time, I don't think any of us had cell phones. I don't think they were popular enough for us to have them, or like existed in enough space for us to have them. So that wasn't an option. But he was like, I'll ride home and I'll get my parents and we can drive him to the hospital, or the ER or something. And my mom was like, no, why would we do that? And I was not privy to this because I was out of it at the time, and I did not know this situation happened at all. But she's sitting at the table. It was a Monday night dinner, of course, where I'm chaperoning their date. So she's sitting at the table telling my neighbor the story, and I'm sitting there too. And she's like, "Man, his best friend, he was really freaking out. He wanted to go to the hospital." And I was like, "No." And the way she's telling the story with me sitting right there is like, you bitch. Everyone else who saw that shit was like, something is wrong. And then there's you. I don't want to spend money. No, I got some like gauze pad from the 60s and some surgical tape from my mother's mother's mother. We're fine. We're totally fine here. So like, I just want to put out there that there are, of course, always two perspectives. If a situation occurs where there's two people participating in it. But most people on the outside, and usually the two people on the inside, should have some general consensus of which person is more attuned to reality. I just want to put that out there.
Hey there, guys and gals. Thanks so much for watching, as always. If you click the link on the left, you'll be taken to the previous episode. If you click the link on the right, you'll be taken to the playlist where you can watch them all.